Why, hello there, friends, and welcome back to the channel. If you are new around these parts, hello, and thank you so much for clicking and for being here with me. Oh my god, y'all. I'm just so overwhelmed by the support of my last video, but we'll get into that. First, let's get into this plan with me. So I'm doing another plan with me for the week of June 2nd. I am using this spa day kit from Caress Press. You may see me pointing things. I did start the base as a talk through and ended up just speeding it up and doing a voiceover because the day by day was already going to be a voiceover and I wasn't really saying much of anything during this talk through. So I decided to just make the whole thing a voiceover instead. So using Spa Day from Caress Press, and I really wanted to use this kit for this week, even though I did not have a spa day or go to a spa, because this was the first week of summer remote work. And I just remember how relaxed I felt going into it and not having to commute forever every day. So those days now are sorely missed, but I wanted to kind of capture that feeling I had. And so I ended up going with this. A lot of my June lineup has kind of changed, which I'm okay with. But yeah, you're going to notice some things you didn't see in my June kit lineup over the next few plan with me. So just so you know, that's coming. As far as foil, I used, because this was such a last minute decision, I pretty much just shopped my stash. And I found like lots of random things, but I think it ended up coming together really beautifully. So I had these ice solid underlays from Plannahannah. I had these matte silver heart overlays from Plannahannah that I pulled in, and then I used a matte silver foil bundle from Scribble Prints Co as well. So just kind of pulled in a pish posh of things, and I actually really like how this spread turned out. I'm like very happy with it. So considering it was so last minute and that I just pretty much shopped my stash for the foil part of it. So yeah, I was really happy with it. Yeah. So anyways, y'all, I'm so sorry, my voice. I am so blown away by the love and support that I've gotten on my last video. I have had so many conversations with y'all in my DMs. I know some of you have shared your thoughts on your own platform. Some of you have tagged me in them. Some of you have reached out for collabs. Some of you have reached out for ideas. Some of you have reached out for what you're thinking of doing. And these are more like artists, shop owners in the community. So I'm just really, really blown away. Like, you say it and you hope it starts discourse, but you never know how it's going to hit. And it's a conversation we've had. So I always knew there'd be people who'd be on board and understand and have the same grievances essentially. So I knew there'd be that, but I just didn't think it would be to this scale. So I'm so thankful for everyone who watched, who commented. I still am working on getting back to your comments. I've seen them all. Please know I'm going to go back and comment. I've responded to everyone on Instagram. And I'm just like blown away, truly just blown the F away. I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled that people are having the discourse. I hope it continues. And more importantly, I hope that change follows. Yeah. So thank y'all so much. I think there are some things that I'll share just to kind of wrap up that conversation and share a little bit of some of the conversations that I had. I'm not going to share all of them. One, because they would take up the whole plan with me. And two, I don't want to step on anyone's toes. So I'm going to try to make my thoughts as succinct as I can so I can get them into this plan with me. It's a 30-minute plan with me, so I feel like I can do it. But one of the things that came up from this discourse, and a lot of people were having this conversation on their own platforms, was their opinions, their thoughts, often very valid, about Taylor Swift and their issues with her. The reason that I stayed away from sharing my opinions on her in my video is because they were irrelevant to the point I was trying to make. So I know that there are people who are like, well, Anna, if she was irrelevant to the point you were trying to make, why did you use her as an example? That is a great question. Let me tell you why. I needed to find something that was undeniable, because often when we have questions about whiteness being centered in things, in life, in all of the things, it is very easy for folks to find a way to get out of that conversation. They will find a way every time, because it's an uncomfortable conversation to have. They will find a way to weasel themselves out of that conversation. And so I needed to find something that was undeniable. Undeniable. And so if I objectively asked anyone in the planner community, hey, do you think there's an abundance of Taylor Swift products on the market? Most people with half an eye open would say yes, regardless of whether or not they're fans. They should be able to notice that, regardless of whether or not they're fans. So that was fact one that was undeniable. The other thing that I needed to make sure was undeniable was whiteness. And so that was fact two that was undeniable. This is a great example of whiteness being centered and being more accessible and available in the community. And Bess from Lights Planner Action, who I think is just a gem. Shout out to Bess. I don't know if she is watching this or not, but like big ups, because she clocked it. She clocked it in her stories when she said that essentially, this part was not her words, but essentially whether you like her or not, Taylor Swift upholds the tenets of white supremacy. It is undeniable. And so, in those things being undeniable, that felt like the most appropriate example to give because you cannot hide behind anything. And if you have chosen, which I know there are people that have, whether or not they make it to my DMs or whether or not they're connected to me in any way, I know for a fact that conversations were had, maybe publicly, probably privately, of why do we need to shit on Taylor Swift to prove a point about diversity? And if that was all, if that was the only thing that you took out of this conversation, I need you to do some inner work, pero ya, o sea, immediately. like stop what you're doing now and do some inner work. Start now because you're already late. Just start now. Because if that was all that you got, we got a problem. Houston, we have a problem. And then the next point, which was brought up in my DMs by someone, and I didn't ask them permission, so I don't want to share their name, but they'll likely watch this. And if they want to out themselves, they will in the comments. Shout out to them. But one of the things they brought up that I thought was a very valid point was polls and how we use them. And we all use polls, whether artists or shop owners or just anyone. Regardless of what they do, use polls as a way to gather information, to understand what their audience wants. Cool, great, amazing. I've used them myself several times. Make sure that if you are either an artist or a shop owner who is creating these polls to try to see what your audience wants, especially if you're trying to figure out what themes, how to theme your products, right? If you're going to give folks some options for themes that they'd like to see. When you're doing those polls, especially if you're trying to highlight and uplift marginalized communities, make sure that the options in your poll reflect those marginalized communities, all the options in your poll. Because the problem is when you include options that reflect that and then include options that center whiteness, oftentimes the options that center whiteness will win. Is just the world we live in, fam. It's just the world we live in. It's gonna win oftentimes. And so you have to make a concerted effort to make sure that those options are all themes that cater to marginalized communities, or don't poll and just do it. Up to you. So I thought that was a great point. I've seen it happen many times, and I use polls. I saw it happen actually, I think it was like 2 years ago when Renaissance came out, and there was a shop that asked whether or not folks wanted to see Beyonce, our exclusive art, whatever. And it was a yes, no poll. And of course the no's won that argument. So, and I think that poll also made me realize that no's are kind of useless in polls like that. Like, I've done it before. I've done that where I have a yes, no kind of poll, and I've decided to just take no's out because the people that don't want it are kind of irrelevant to me. Like, if enough people want it, the information you're trying to gather, right, is if enough people want it, I'm going to do the thing, right? So really the yeses are the only thing that matter. Like, the amount of no's shouldn't matter. If you have a number in your mind of if at least 5-6 people want this, I'm going to do it, then just put a yes on there. I don't need to hear about people who are saying no. You know what I mean? That's how I've decided to move forward. Obviously, do what you want with that information, but it did give me that insight when that happened. So you just got to do it half of the time. You just got to do it. Or if you're going to pull your audience specifically for those types of themes, make sure that they're surrounded by other options that highlight those themes as well versus not. So, yeah. And then there was one other point. What was it? Oh, folks have asked me about some advice, like tips and advice on how to do this thing, how to start, where to start. I would say first and foremost, connect to planners in the community who are active, who do not look like you. Connect to all of them, as long as they're active. Inactive folks aren't really going to inform you. Active folks will, though. If they have YouTube channels, subscribe to their YouTube channels. And the truth is, they're going to tell you what they value if you listen to them. They're going to tell you what they value. They'll probably tell you at some point what's missing. They'll mention what kits they'd like to see. I can't tell you the amount of people, regardless of the walks of life that they come from, who mention at least once or twice in a plan with me, oh, you know what would be cool? I want to see this kit. I wish someone would do this kit. I mean, that happens all the time. So if you're paying attention, you're going to see it. But if you're following 3 people and the 3 people are all white, baby, you can't get any information from them about people that don't look like them. You know what I mean? So that's the first thing. Make sure you're connecting with, following, and listening to people who don't look like you, because they're going to tell you what they want. And I think, there's really obvious ways to incorporate it, right? A lot of people lean into the Heritage Months, Black History Month, Hispanic Heritage Month, Latinx Month, AAPI Month. Obviously, those are very easy, overt ways to do it. Pride Month, right? Those are all really obvious ways to do it. So overtly, those are probably the easiest, but there's tons of ways to do it. I could share with you a more subtle way that I've done it. So for a while, folks had been saying that there's more, and I wouldn't even say there's a lot, but there's more football art than other sports. There's really not a lot of sports art in general in the community, but of the sports art that exists, the majority are football. And folks have been asking for different sports. And so I right now currently have 2 baseball kits in my shop. One of them is actually retiring in about a week. So if you're interested, go check that. But there's 2 of them in my shop. And of course, to the naked eye, right? Folks are going to be like, oh yeah, that's great. Like that's, people were asking for different sports. You did baseball instead of football. Amazing. Cool. Another sport we get to include. So from the naked eye, you get that perspective. But from my lived experience, I can also tell you, and most people who pay attention to baseball can tell you, that there is a large amount of Latino players in baseball. In the Dominican Republic, where I am from, I am Dominican. It is basically the sport of the country. No other sport exists in DR. Now, I'm generalizing. Of course, there are some other athletes, amazing athletes actually, that play other sports in DR that are not baseball, but overwhelmingly, it's a baseball country. We're about baseball. There are academies, they are recruited from there. It's a whole thing, business, all of the above. I mean, we're talking about kids that train from when they're tiny. 5 probably, they start training to someday make it to the major leagues. And many of them have, a large population of them have. And so not only is it bringing in the fact that there is not as much baseball art themed products in the community, it also gives a nod to the Latinx community. And so these are the ways that you can do it that might be a little more subtle and may not be as in your face. I'm down for the in your face. I'm not saying that you shouldn't have it in your face. I want it to be in your face as much as possible, but I'm saying it's not the only way. So it requires you to think out of the box. And if it's not your lived experience, it really requires you to connect with folks who don't look like you. That's the best advice I can give you. Yeah. So I think those are all the points that I wanted to make. I once again thank you all so much for listening, for being here, for engaging in the discourse. I really appreciate y'all. It's been a wild Wilds week, it's actually been a bit overwhelming. It feels a little bit like being a fish in a fishbowl, where I'm so grateful for the attention, but I'm also still an introvert through and through. And so I'm like, oh my God, attention? What is going on? What is going on? But I'll take this type of attention, obviously, because I think it's good attention. So appreciate y'all. I do have some questions that you all sent me. I feel like it's probably been like 2 weeks now and none of you remember it, but I do want to go ahead and answer them. I put another poll up because I have some new followers on Instagram of some questions that y'all might have. So I don't know if I'll get through all of them now, but I'm going to do my absolute best. Oh, and lastly, before I get into those questions, shout out to those of you who are doing it actively, like the things I just mentioned. I know some of you are doing. Shout out to y'all. Because it's not everybody. It's a majority in my opinion, but it's not everybody. So shout out to y'all. Y'all are the goats. The goats. Anyways, on to the questions. First question, which is actually hilarious, is what are you looking forward to the most for Act 3? This is from China of China Doll Plans. Shout out to her. I know she was very vocal during this discourse as well. And she said what she needed to say. She got some things off her chest. What am I looking forward to the most for Act 3? Wow. All of it, the whole thing. I'm excited for the visuals. I'm, of course, excited for the music. I'm just having a hard time leaving Act 2, y'all. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I had this conversation with Marche of Honeybee Plans, which shout out to my girl who is a constant supporter of the channel and the shop and all the things. And she's like, I'm ready for this album to come out now. And I'm like, girl, I can't. Like, I'm not done with Cowboy Carter. I really have, like, this era has a real chokehold on me. Like, and I cannot tell you how completely my flabbers are gasted. I cannot tell you how surprised I am by that. Like, this is like, huh? Like, what you mean, girl? What? Like, that has been the gag of my life. That the country-ish era of Beyonce would be my hardest era to let go of. Obviously, once it drops, maybe I'll finally be ready to let go of it, but I feel like I'm just always going to remember this album very fondly, and it'll be among my favorites. So I'm looking forward to all of it, girl. I want the music. I know the opener's about to hit. I want to see the visuals. The tour, please. I'm ready to yell my feelings. Ooh, child. If it's like Don't Hurt Yourself, I'm about to be wild. I'm about to be wild. I'm expecting lots of black leather for this era. Just black everything. Ooh. Yes. Anyways. All of the above. Is that a good answer? All of the above. Next question is from Nellie of Clip Art Kits, who I had a lovely conversation with about all of the things we've been talking about. So shout out to my girl Nellie. What's a hobby you've never tried but are intrigued to try, even if it's intimidating? That's a good question. I don't know. Oh, you know what, actually? I don't know if she remembers this, but I would love y'all to try to draw, like, art sets. And I feel like Nellie one time posted, like, a story. She posted something, like, asking people if they'd want to do, like, a tutorial. I can't remember entirely what it was, but she can correct me in the comments if she wants. Something along those lines. And I was like, girl, if I had an iPad and what is it? Procreate? Is it Procreate y'all use? I'd be down. I'd be down because that would be so cool. It'd be so cool to create some of this art. Yeah, that would be awesome. That'd be really awesome. But, you know, it's hard. I think it's a beautiful thing to be able to make a living off of creativity, but I feel like it's also a very hard thing to do. For several reasons. I feel like Nellie would get it. So that's probably what I want to try, and it would be incredibly intimidating. And next question, also from Nelly. Talk through your ideal weekend, dream big. Oh, geez. My ideal weekend is wild. Wow. My ideal weekend? Oh, my goodness. I feel like, I don't know. It depends on the mood I'm in. Like, I feel like some weekends, my ideal weekend is food and TV to binge and bae. That's it. That's my ideal weekend. I feel like those are the weekends I want for the next like 3 weekends because work is so wild. But if I'm like going to do things, I feel like it would be so cool to go to Puerto Rico or go to the Dominican Republic and just connect with the roots and the culture. It's been so long for both of us. Bae is Puerto Rican, for those of you who don't know, and it's just been a really long time since either of us have gone home. And I feel like, well, I can only really speak for me. I feel like I am aching for that. And I don't know when that's going to happen, but there's such a pull for me to do that. And I'm not sure how soon I can make it happen for a multitude of reasons. And because the current political climate is absolute fucking trash. So, yeah, I think that would be ideal. And like a bonkers weekend would probably be, I would love, this is going to surprise absolutely no one, I would absolutely love to be a fly on the wall. I'll sign the NDA, girl, to be a fly on the wall for a Beyonce studio session. Like, I just want to be in there while she creates, and I will sign all the NDAs, and I will let her tap my phone line to make sure I don't share shit. But like, oh my God, I feel like a behind the scenes of that. Like, how does someone like that do this shit? Like, how does she like evolve in this way? Like, I would love to be a fly on the wall for the making of some of the songs that we love. Broski. Like, to be a fly on the wall for American Requiem, bitch, bye. Bitch, bye. I would fall out. I'd fall out. So I gave you about 30 different weekend plans, but you did say dream big. Next question, also from Nelly. Would you rather spend a week with the whole cast of Hamilton or have be at your birthday? Wow, Nelly. I didn't think you would do me this dirty ever, girl. Like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean? This is, Marche did this too. I'm going to share that with y'all later. Y'all being rude because what is this question? How am I supposed to choose? I don't think y'all know how much I love, not just love Hamilton, but love the OG cast of Hamilton. Like, I don't think y'all understand. This is actually very hard. I'm stressed out. I feel like it would have to be Beyonce at my birthday because, like, bruh. But, like, what would I say to Beyonce, y'all? Like, what does one say to Beyonce Giselle Knowles Carter? Like, what the hell am I going to say to that woman? I'm going to be speechless the whole time. Are we going to have conversation? Like, what am I going to say to her? So that's why I'm like, maybe I should just meet the cast of Hamilton. Because I feel like those are the homies. I feel like I could chill with them and it'd be great. Like Lynn and Chris and Renee and Jazzy. Come on now. David, please. I plead the fifth. Next question. Jeans or tracksuits, pants / joggers? Probably joggers, even though I wear jeans a lot, but the joggers are comfier. Yes, and I like to be comfy. Okay, and then Siobhan Plans asks, what art theme do you really want, but it's too niche? Oh, very on brand. Wow. Oh, wow. That's a good question because I've been able to, thankfully, I've been blessed enough to bring a lot of the ones I've wanted to do to life. I can't think of anything that's too niche, to be honest with you. Like, the things that I would like to see don't feel very niche to me. Let me see. Is there something that's too niche? I don't think I have anything that's too niche. I've been in a little bit of a space. I was in a good space probably like 2 months ago or so, where I was just mood boarding everything. I was like, oh yes, I'm on fire. I was selling. I was sending Nelly all sorts of things, and I was like, girl, I'm on fire. And now I feel like I'm at a bit of a lull with it. I think it's just because once I get enveloped into processing orders, I just have to focus my attention on that because it's just me doing it. So it really doesn't allow for me to kind of think about that, or at least I try not to too much. If I get like a great idea, I'll obviously ride that wave, but otherwise, yeah, it's a niche kit. I don't think I have something that's too niche. Like, I keep thinking of travel sets. I feel like a Brazil kit would be really beautiful. Like, oh, gorgeous. Like, I'm thinking about it and I'm like, it would be stunning. I feel like that would be beautiful. I feel like a Colombia kit would be amazing. We've had some Japan kits. Would love to see more of them. Yeah, and none of that feels very niche to me. So I don't know. I might have to think on that. But I like that question, especially now. Especially these days. I really like that question. So I'm going to think about that. How'd you get into planning? Also from Siobhan Plans. I loved watching Erica Life Vlogs, who is no longer anywhere. I feel like the ground swallowed her. I hope she is doing okay, but she has just disappeared. She's not on Instagram and not on YouTube anymore. But she was on YouTube, I don't know, 5-6 years ago now. I'm not entirely sure. But she was doing budgeting on YouTube, and I fell in love with that. I've always been kind of money conscious, which is hilarious right now considering the financial constraints I'm in, but we would talk about it. I've always been money conscious, and I've always liked budgeting. So I got into kind of watching her budget, and she did like cash envelopes and cash counting, and I really loved it. And then I remember she also did plan with me. She didn't do them as often as her budgeting stuff, but when I saw her do them, I was like, I had never seen anything like it. Like, I've always used planners, but I've never seen like vertical sticker kits and washi and like this whole world. I was like, what the F is this? And where can I sign up? So I, in late 2019, I had been debating probably for a few months about like, are you going to do this? Like, are you going to start a YouTube channel? Cause girl, that's wild. And I debated it for a while, and I was like, you know what? Just try it. What's the worst that can happen? You're using a phone. You don't have to invest a ton of money into it. Just try it. And if you don't like it, guess what? You could stop. So I talked myself into it, and I did my first one on like my kitchen table. It's still on the channel. Please do not watch it. Thank you very much. And I was like, all right, I could do this. And, at first I was like, maybe eventually I can get monetized and this could be like a little side income thing. Great. Then planning kind of took over the channel, and I stopped budgeting kind of entirely. And I had some issues with like the personal finance community, not with people in it. The people that I met within like that budgeting community were actually lovely. My issues were more on philosophical based, but anyways, that has nothing to do with anything. Planning ended up taking up a lot of my channel, and so unfortunately it also very much stalled my channel. Like, my channel doesn't really grow because I started budgeting, and a lot of my audience was a budgeting audience. I mostly just lose subscribers. But I was enjoying what I was doing. And then I, fell into the planning community. I connected with folks on Instagram. And then I started the shop. It's just the wildest of journeys, because like I literally was like, let's just try it and see how I like it, and I can always stop if I hate it. And like all these years later, we have an amazing community of folks and a shop. Crazy. My advice, just do it. Just do it. Anyways, that's how I got into planning. Erica Life Vlogs is really the reason I exist on YouTube at all, and therefore exist on Instagram. So if she ever comes back and you appreciate the content I put out, you can thank her. I've thanked her before. Okay, so next question is from Ashley Tries to Plan. Hey girl, hey. How excited are you for Halloween this year? Oh, I'm excited for Halloween, even when we're nowhere near Halloween. Halloween is my shit. I'm always excited for Halloween. And I don't ever, not ever, but I don't usually do anything wild for Halloween, but it doesn't matter. It's the vibes. It's the vibes for me and the art. The vibes and the art. So I'm always excited for Halloween. And I think Halloween this year is on a Friday, which like, hell yes. Hell yes. That means I can come home. I can give out some treats to the little kitties. And I can watch Halloween movies in my pajamas. And I feel like I need themed pajamas, actually. I'm so glad you mentioned it. I need to add that to my list of things to buy. I feel like I used to have them, but now I'm not entirely sure where they are. If I'm going to be honest with you, not quite sure where they are. Okay. Next question. How has work been? Right now it's kind of the calm before the storm. And I feel like I'm just living in existential dread of the start of the semester. The fall semester is the hardest. So yeah, calm before the storm for now. Definitely ramping up though. Definitely having heart palpitations. Next question. Rank the fall/winter holidays. Fave to least fave. Fave to least fave. Well, my fave is... Well, are we counting like heritage months in there? No, we're just counting holidays. Okay. I'm just going to go with the major holidays because I know there are other holidays in between. But, I mean, it's Halloween. Halloween is first. Halloween is always first. Then, I mean, technically it probably would be Thanksgiving, although I realize it's a bit problematic. So, but I like the idea that it's just family, food, chill vibes. Christmas is my least fave. It's my least fave for the simple fact that it's just stressful for me. Yeah, that's all it is. It's just a very stressful holiday for me. And it's an incredibly expensive holiday. But I love the decor parts of it. Like, that part is so fun. I just don't like the commercial part of it. That's kind of trash. So, there you go. But I know that's probably an unpopular opinion. I know a lot of people love Christmas. 'Tis what it is. Love your Christmas. This is my time. Your time will come on November 1st where I hear everyone start playing that damn Mariah Carey song that I cannot hear anymore. I can't hear it anymore. And I enjoy me some Mariah Carey. But I hate that song. Oh my God, I hate that song. Anyways. You didn't ask me that. Let me shut up. Next question. Also, that question was from Joya. Hey girl, hey. And the next two are also from her. I hope you have for the shop in the coming year. I mean, my goal is always to grow the shop, but it's just so hard to just keep up with the schedule I have now with work. And that's just really infrequent releases. But I refuse to ramp up and then have areas of the shop suffer, like customer service and processing time. So because I really don't want to see those tank, which they will if I go and produce too much or, release too much, I'm really careful about it. And so I have really infrequent releases, and I wish that I had more time on my hands to dedicate to growing the shop more, because I would like to offer more products and things for folks. But truly, what I offer now, it takes up already so much of my time that I really can't see myself offering more. And really, while I'm working a full-time job, I just don't know how I could. The times that I could are pretty much summer. And it's just such a small period of time throughout the year when we think about the full year that it just doesn't make sense for me to offer it for 2 seconds and then be like, all right, bye, that's it. Sorry, y'all. You didn't get it in those 2 months or whatever. That's all we got. That's all she wrote. So that's why it's kind of stagnant in that way, I feel like. But luckily, the areas that I do focus on, I feel like have so many options available. There's so many themes out there that haven't been done. And so I feel like in that sense, I'm fortunate in that I think I'll always have stuff to release. Now, whether or not the shop survives the economy, the financial constraints, and all the other things that are required for a small business to run, that's a whole nother story. But that would be my ideal goal. In a perfect world, I would love to increase the amount of products that I offer and things that I can do with the shop. So yeah, for now, the big goal is to just try to stay open. That's the big goal. I just want to stay open as long as I can and bring y'all fun shit. That's what I want to do. Okay, so that covers all of the questions from that first Plan With Me question box I posted like a week or two ago. So thank you to all of you that submitted questions. Y'all are the real MVPs of my life. If you've made it this far, put a palm tree in the comments. I'm like, what should I have you put? Put a palm tree in the comments if you have made it this far in the video, because you to go. You to go. Thank you all so much. Thank you for watching, for listening, for your comments, for all your feedback. I'm so grateful to have it, honestly. Whew, and I'm tired, y'all. I've been printing orders now for about 300 million hours. So I'm going to continue to finish up your orders. It feels a little bit like I'm processing them slower. Y'all don't notice the difference because they should still be kind of getting to you within the processing time. But it feels like that for me because with the retiring section, a lot of folks picked up kits with archived files. Like I needed to go dig out those files, which I knew I would. Like, I'm not complaining. I'm just giving you context. I need to go dig out those files and download them. So that adds more to the processing time. So I'm feeling extra tired this processing time. I am hoping to have new releases, but it's going to be a couple weeks, y'all, because I need to get my feet under me with processing these orders. And then work is going to be just wild for another like couple weeks before it kind of goes to its normal wild, not its extreme wild, if that makes sense. So I am still hoping to have new releases. So keep an eye on the shop. Make sure you follow me on Instagram if you are not, because that's usually where you get the first updates with any new releases and or just any shop updates. So, all right, y'all, that's it. That's all I got left. If you can't tell, I'm exhausted. I'm going to go print some more orders, and then I'm probably just going to take a break. The like stack of orders that I need to cut. Whew, we're going to pace ourselves. Anyway. Love y'all. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.